Have you ever stopped to think how embarrassing it is being born? The first thing a human being does when it's birthed is cry, and crying is cringe. So we literally enter this world as a little cringe specimen, and it's up to us to spend the rest of our lives trying to transcend the first cringe and be something more. But what happens when you spend your entire lives as nothing but a clown? Someone who just embarrasses themselves at every step of their journey. Well, then you end up like Billy Mitchell. I'm just describing Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell is the self-proclaimed video game player of the century. He was the former world record holder for Donkey Kong, and he has spent the better part of the last 4 or 5 years just ruining his own reputation by frivolously suing everyone that even so much as makes fun of him or makes a light joke about him. And the reason for this lashing out is because it was revealed through tons and tons and tons of evidence that Billy Mitchell most likely cheated for his records, is most likely a fraud, allegedly. So since that doomsday, Billy's just been an insufferable asshole who sues everyone who makes a joke about it or talks about it, and he tries to scare people with massive lawsuits. It's just a big piece of shit. So he's already sued a YouTuber whom I'm a big fan of. His name's Carl. I'm sure a lot of you have watched his content before. He's suing Carl, and it's a very expensive lawsuit so far. It's been like $180,000 according to Carl. But he wasn't done there. Just 2 weeks ago, Billy Mitchell came back out of the shadows to sue Carl again. Even though the previous lawsuit is still ongoing, he is suing Carl again, but this time for an even more outrageous reason that I'm not going to spoil right now. I'll let Carl go ahead and give you the surprise, because what a special treat it is. This is one of the most baffling reasons for a lawsuit I think I've probably ever heard in general. Now, as I understand it, the second lawsuit hasn't been fully filed yet. Right now it is still in the letter of intent stage, where they are intending to sue Carl and have sent him the documents to indicate such, but it looks like it is going to be sent in the coming days. In response to this, Carl made another video going over just how silly it all is, but also how expensive everything is, and he set up a GoFundMe because he's right now getting dual hand jobs here from Billy Mitchell with the double lawsuit coming in. So he does have a GoFundMe, which I'm going to link below. Please feel free to support him if you'd like to help Carl against an absolutely ruthless villain here. I think Billy Mitchell is unhinged, and this kind of behavior is completely unacceptable and complete fucking bullshit. And hopefully it results in Billy Mitchell himself getting countersued. Good news is he currently is in another lawsuit with a company called Twin Galaxies, and it's looking like he will most likely lose that. So there's some good news there, and I have full confidence that Carl will also be able to beat Billy Mitchell, because Billy has a history of these awful fucking lawsuits that just don't work because they're so fucking dumb. Now, I'd like to share some of Carl's video with you and go into even more detail on Billy Mitchell. So I want to talk about this. I don't know how many of you saw this today. So Carl is again being sued by Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell, as I'll bring you up to speed on the lore, disgraced best gamer of all time. What did he call himself? The gamer of the century? Can't quite recall. Donkey Kong world record holder, outed as a fraud, in denial for the rest of his life, allegedly a fraud. Otherwise, I'm going to get sued for saying that. And he just goes on like a legal rampage to try and scare people into silence. So he throws his meat around to get people on edge so they don't talk about him or they remove anything that's, hypercritical of him. Carl has once again found himself in the crosshairs of old Billy Mitchell here. So he's now posted this video talking about it, and this one is a little scarier than the last one. Billy Mitchell's got the fangs out, so he's coming out locked and loaded, and it's just a really fucking sad situation that Billy Mitchell continues to do this. He's what they call a serial suer. He just files all kinds of these frivolous lawsuits knowing full well they won't make it to court, but is still expensive on the people he files them against most of the time. It's a fucking disgrace. And he's absolutely shit at games.
As many of you know, last year I was officially sued by Billy Mitchell. In September of 2021, Mitchell filed a $450,000 lawsuit against me over my video titled "The Biggest Con Man in Video Game History."
Great video too.
In that video,
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with Billy Mitchell, but you've seen the regular show, Billy Mitchell was so upset that they used his image in... Here, I'll bring it up, actually. I don't even know why I'm going to try and paint it with words when I can just look it up. They used this as like an antagonist when it was about like a high score episode, Billy Mitchell got pissed. He got so fucking mad. And this is honestly the best Billy Mitchell's ever looked. I actually think regular show did him a great service. Usually he's dressed like he's running for student class president. But here, they made him look cool. I can't remember if he sued them though. Oh no, he did. He did and lost. Which sounds par for the course in the life of Billy Mitchell. Judge declares Mitchell is not a giant floating head. Cool ruling. Though I do understand why Billy might be a little upset because they portrayed him as like this ferociously unhinged maniac, which he is. So that's just a big old get fucked Billy. Unlucky. I actually haven't read the quotes from the ruling. The television character does not match the plaintiff in appearance. GBF, character in the show, appears as a non-human creature, a giant floating head with no body from outer space, while plaintiff is a human being. And when GBF loses his title, the character literally explodes, unlike plaintiff. One could argue Billy Mitchell also explodes, but it's far more embarrassing. His explosions just usually end up with shittily written lawsuits and as well as just verbal tantrums and salt.
Billy Mitchell's compulsive need to threaten and sue people that talk about him has reached all-time highs, and you will not believe what he has recently done to try to silence me.
Yeah.
But before that, my legal defense has cost $180,000.
Yep.
Yes, you heard correctly, $180,000.
That's why it's so disgraceful when someone takes this absolute garbage route. There's a lot of people that have done this online. You guys might remember BitBoy Crypto tried something similar against Atozy, where Atozy called him out on some of the shit he was talking about, and BitBoy Crypto threatened this big lawsuit, defamation, I can't sleep, I can't eat because he called me a dirtbag, that kind of shit. It is always such a financial burden to fight that shit, even though it doesn't win the case. The whole point is to bleed you of money. It's so fucked up. Does it not cost Billy Mitchell money to file these? I don't know. I'm not well versed enough to know for sure. A lot of times the frivolous lawsuits, in order to file them, it's not super expensive or anything. You can do it relatively cheap, at least compared to fighting it. Because once you file it, the onus is really on the person you're going after to defend themselves against you. So that's where a lot of the money comes from. So yes, it does cost something for them to do it, but it doesn't cost nearly as much for them to file it as it does to fight it.
Because you see, Billy Mitchell isn't satisfied just suing me once. Oh no, he is going to sue me
Double
again.
dipping.
In
The old
April of
double
this
fist.
year, I released a video called Disgraced Gamer Billy Mitchell Accused of Extortion, where I factually and objectively reported on accusations made against Mitchell by the current Donkey Kong World Record holder, Robbie Lakeman.
Then that's where you made a mistake, Carl. I gotta tell you, when it comes to Billy Mitchell, there's no such things as facts, only feelings. And you poke the sleeping bear. Billy was content with just one frivolous lawsuit, but now he's going in full throttle.
As in my humble opinion, he has absolutely no case, and this is just an attempt to scare me, but it still gets even worse.
Yeah, it's an expensive scare tactic, though. And I have to say, I love the nuts on Carl. So, usually in these things, they make a request, take down the video or else. A lot of times, because of how expensive this is and how scary the big numbers are, people fold, take it down. Hope that's the end of it. Carl sticks to his guns, and I always appreciate that. I always think that's great. Just say, okay, you want to dance? Mama's putting on the dancing shoes then. Let's hit the tango. And then duke it out from there. Because going forward, while it's cheaper to file it than it is to fight it, it is still going to cost Billy Mitchell money should this continue. He's going to lose money as well. And it's not like he's like super wealthy. He does have a decent chunk of change to his name from what I understand. But it's not like he's made out of money. He can't fight this thing forever.
In May of this year, I released a video called I Cheated in a Speedrun and I Need to Come Clean, which was a parody video where I jokingly made fun of myself for submitting a few cheated scores to a gaming magazine over 20 years ago when I was a kid. Anyone who's watched that video might be wondering what this has to do with Billy Mitchell.
It was
as
brought
the
up in the
video
lawsuit.
wasn't about him, nor did I even talk about him. While it is true that I didn't mention or talk about Billy Mitchell, I did show this clip.
You're familiar with Billy Mitchell, world video game champion? He could probably do it. So I gotta find a way to harness his power, and I think I found a way.
That's right, we're gonna cheat.
This is a meme that was made back in 2020, which has over 4 million views
Fire
on YouTube
meme.
and millions of views on Twitter. That's right, in the entire video, I literally did not mention Billy Mitchell
He
at
should
all
sue
or
Angry
talk about
Video
him.
Game
I
Nerd.
simply randomly threw in this meme of someone else talking as a joke, and Billy Mitchell wants to sue me for this.
I didn't remember this. Peter Dinklage plays a Billy Mitchell stand-in who has always bested Adam Sandler's character when they were kids. It's revealed the reason he was so good was because he cheated. Fucking hype. I'm assuming Billy Mitchell tried a lawsuit there. He must have consented to that then. Maybe that was too big of an opportunity for him to get upset about. They had the creator of Pac-Man get eaten by Pac-Man in the movie. That's a little different though. Billy Mitchell is always adamant that he's never cheated. It's all legit. He is... What does he call himself? Is it the Gamer of the Century? Like, he calls himself fucking Gamer of the Century or something. Oh, Video Game Player of the Century. Not even... Jesus, Gamer of the Century would have been better. Why Video Game Player? You just call yourself Gamer and you get one word for the price of 3. Mm-hmm.
Billy Mitchell is guilty of fraudulently hoodwinking so as to obtain unfair advantage when competing in video games.
Yeah. That is what the meme is saying. I don't know how you really sue for the meme, though. Especially when Carl didn't even make the meme. He should go after the meme maker. In fact, he should just go after anyone that says anything about him on Twitter or Reddit. Like, just really put your tentacles all the way out there.
Section 10A of the Defamation
Including
Act at
you?
the time of your...
I'm actually shocked Billy Mitchell hasn't come after me yet. Not only have I made fun of this man extensively for years now, talked about him on the podcast quite a bit, I keep up with Billy Mitchell and the enjoyable tragedy that is his public reputation and how he just wipes his ass with it constantly. I'm super finger on the pulse when it comes to Billy Mitchell. I am shocked he hasn't tried. I suppose he's welcome to if he wants. I would absolutely fight that shit tooth and nail. I'd request that it be live streamed as well, so that way there's fucking content flowing from it. I think it'd be great. Billy Mitchell strikes me as the type of guy that would represent himself in court too. Even though none of his lawsuits have ever made it that far because they're such dog shit, I feel like if they did, he would represent himself. It would be just a content factory.
Oh my lord. Billy Mitchell is a joke. He has become a parody of himself.
True.
This letter is nothing short of hilarious.
Not defamatory.
And I would otherwise
Truth.
be laughing if not for the fact that this is a real letter written by a real lawyer that my lawyers really had to respond to. So not only does he want to sue me over a meme that someone else made, but he wants to sue me over a meme that someone else made that's true. And what's ironic is that there are
Huge.
hundreds of comments underneath the
Love that.
YouTube video of this clip of people making fun of Billy, joking, saying that he's going to sue them for posting it. And then he actually...
Yeah, how can you, as Billy Mitchell, they even quoted the YouTube comments in the lawsuit, so how can you as Billy Mitchell see these comments, them laughing at you knowing you're going to sue him, and then still do it? You make yourself an even bigger joke. It is actually just impressive. Billy Mitchell is like a human snowball, like just tumbling down a mountain, getting bigger and bigger and bigger as more and more failures compound, and then eventually just having this comedic explosion at the bottom that everyone points and laughs at. What a remarkable legacy.
So I have set up a GoFundMe
Probably.
to help with my fight against Billy Mitchell, and any help would be immensely appreciated.
Absolutely.
This GoFundMe is set to cover the rest of my existing lawsuit, plus the new lawsuit that Billy Mitchell says he will be filing, plus having to deal with all of the other bullshit threats that come my way. This is in Australian dollars, so it's not as large as it seems, but it's still a very significant amount of money that it's
I think
going
it's
to take to
150K
defeat
USD.
Mitchell. There is light at the end of the tunnel, though. In Australian court, generally the loser has to pay a lot of the legal fees of the winning party. So
How's the GoFundMe going? I hope it's going well. I haven't checked. Fuck yeah. Hey, that's a good day one right there. I'll be donating to it. I really think when Carl wins, I don't see a world where Billy somehow squeaks out a dub here. I think when Carl wins, Carl needs to countersue. And I will do whatever it takes to make that possible. I want to put Billy Mitchell against the ropes. I want Carl and Billy to duke it out in court. And I just want to be there with the popcorn to spectate. Because you can countersue for frivolous lawsuits. Knowingly filing bogus lawsuits isn't necessarily allowed. You can come back against that, for sure. So I really think once this is all settled, the dust settles, I think a countersuit is the right play.
The next 12 months will not be good for Billy Mitchell. He has his trial against Twin Galaxies coming up, and in my opinion,
Oh,
and in
yeah.
the opinion of anyone who knows the details of Mitchell's cheating, he has absolutely no chance of winning.
I completely fucking forgot. Billy Mitchell is actually being sued right now. So in the middle of him getting sued, he is still sending out lawsuits. This man is unstoppable. I forgot Twin Galaxies is suing him.
But as soon as he loses one of these lawsuits, which is inevitable, he will be absolutely destroyed and everything will come crumbling down. So, this has been an update to what I've been dealing with.
So one thing Carl says that I think is a little wrong is everything crumbling down for Billy Mitchell. That makes it sound like Billy Mitchell has like a prospering career. He doesn't. Billy Mitchell is like the definition of washed up has-been. Everything will come crumbling down should all of these lawsuits not go in his favor, which I highly doubt they will. But it's not like he's in a good spot right now in general. People talk about him as the butt of jokes. He's not necessarily a celebrity. He's not looked at as a video game icon or champion or anything. He doesn't have like a big empire. He's just a big asshole who has ruined his own legacy and refuses to accept any level of responsibility. No one gives a fuck about Billy Mitchell aside from laughing at him for every frivolous lawsuit. You might get sued. I'm not saying anything defamatory. I'm just saying the truth of where he's at right now. He may or may not have cheated. There's a lot of evidence to suggest he did, but it's all alleged, of course. I'm just talking about him being a joke of a person. That's not defamatory. I find you sad. That's not defamatory. Watching you makes me laugh and feel sadness.
Again, if you have the means, I would appreciate any help, so please consider donating to my GoFundMe, or consider sharing this video. Thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you were having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
Love you, Carl. I have full faith Carl slam dunks this. Yeah, please support Carl. If anyone wants to see Billy Mitchell lose even more, help Carl win the case.